Sneha, what kind of freelance content did you like writing?
I like writing almost any content where I learn something new. For example, I had gone for a PMI event, and over there we had one of the topics were about the way the automobile market works. Now, I only seen a car, I only knew about the loan part, and the customer's point of view. I really didn't know what goes behind it. So it was very interesting. Uh, so any topic when it was something I didn't know, I was going to learn something. Almost all type of content, even if it's website content or copywriting. If I learned something new, it was something that really kept me engaged.
Okay. And your love for home baking, it started in childhood?
Yes, definitely. I've seen my grandmother and my mother bake. And it was something I learned just watching them. And I knew that be a time in my life I'd get to, make this one of my talents as well. And I'm very
Right.
happy that time did come.
Okay. Some of us know what our career focus is. Some of us change our minds. And some don't want just one career. Sneha has handled everything from accounting to content writing to social media management and home baking. She doesn't follow the straight and narrow line or believe that one needs to specialize in just one line of work. Instead, she has already pursued four career streams in the decade she spent working. She completed her BCom and 3 years of ACCA and briefly dallied with accounting. Then, her latent talent in writing and a post graduation from the Asian College of Journalism got her going as a content writer, blogger, editor, and author. She became a freelance content writer so that she could work and also travel the world. Apart from home baking, she's also pursuing her degree in piano performance from the Trinity College of Music. Clearly, she doesn't believe in doing just one thing. My name is Venugopal. I head Ideascape, a company into branding, design, and communication. And every week, I talk to people who follow different careers. And today is exciting because Sneha refuses to confine herself to just one career. Sneha, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Venu.
Great to have you. Okay, so you started working pretty early on. Yeah, you finished BCom in ACCA, and which was your first job?
My first job was with a startup. It was copywriting. And because I was
Okay,
a fresher, they did not give me a lot of content. They want to really test and try my skills. So I think
okay,
from there, it was just copywriting, just one-liners for captions for images. I think from there, it's just been a lovely journey.
okay. But you always liked writing. That was part of your, even in school and college, you would take on assignments, and then while writing them, you liked the whole process of writing.
Yes, I always like writing. It's kind of a somber beginning. My grandfather passed away, and I had to find a way to, just vent out those emotions. And I started by writing a poem about him, then just pages and pages just about him. And I realized that, okay, this is not just something, writing is not just something I want to do in my career, it's something I know I would find happiness while doing my job. So that's how I chose content writing.
Okay, okay. So obviously, words are your friends. In a sense, we have to find who our friends are as we grow up because there are certain things that we figure out as we go along. I'm comfortable doing
Right.
this. I like doing this. This is when I feel most peaceful. So, do you still have those words you wrote about your grandfather long ago? Or
Yes, yes, I do. I still remember a couple of lines, but they're so, I was 9 years old, so they're so, and now when I read them, maybe they were emotional filled at that point, but now I feel like I don't think he would have liked it reading it. There's only the last few words rhyme, and but there was a lot of emotions in that word. So
yeah, yeah. And for a child to turn to writing as a means of expressing that, maybe it came instinctively to you.
Yes, it did. I mean, I really didn't know what to do at one point. And I mean, I could have spoken to my mother and father, but they were grieving the same way, right? Like, nobody
Right,
could really
right.
help each other out. So I just took to writing, and then there was no stopping. Just poem after poem after poem about my grandmom, then became about my mom, my dad, different people. And then I realized this is what I like doing. This is what makes me happy.
Okay, okay. But BCom and ACCA, they're very clear careers, accounting. So what, what started you off on that?
I have no idea what I was thinking at that point. So it was a very crazy move, to be honest. So we had a discussion, my mom and dad, on what I should do when I grow, like not grow up, when I reach 12th. And both my parents are CAs. So I just took it that I'm also going to be as smart as
I'll
them
go
for
into that
sure.
as well.
Even if I'm not smart now, it's going to come at one point, right? So then I decided to try CA and then ACCA and then accounting and oh yeah, that's what started it off.
Okay. And then did you have this conflict about telling them that, hey, I don't want to do this, I want to get into writing, or they were
Mm.
perfectly okay?
No, they were the one who told me, please don't go into CA. It's a very, there are certain careers that are meant for certain kind of people, right?
Right.
Both my parents came from backgrounds where they had to earn for their family, so they're very hardworking. uh, Blessings that I didn't have to really do that. Right. So I was not very hardworking. I was creative and I would definitely work hard for creative things. But maybe numbers sitting and trying to tally a balance sheet, maybe if I put in the effort, I could have, but I couldn't. And my parents knew that beforehand. So they told me, please don't do this. But uh, I just decided why not.
I got to know that at some point in your freelance, phase, you were writing as much as 7,000 words a day, which is incredible because most people
Yes, yes,
struggle to
right.
put in 100 words a day. So, what was your way of, doing that whole thing? How did you pace yourself? What were the kind of things you did?
See, to be very honest, I didn't have, to be very, very honest, I didn't have a lot of responsibilities like I did now, right, at that time. So I had all the time, all I had to do was take a break for eating, and I had time to grow, I had time to write, right? So there was no question of pacing. I woke up at 9, probably freshened up, start writing, take a break. There was no, I didn't have to worry about clothes, cooking. So I had a lot of time in my hands, and I knew I had to make the most of it. My mom always told me when you start a family, you're not going to have that time. So if you have the time now, use it well. So I just thought, why not? If I have the time to write 7,000 words, I mean, might as well do it. So
But that's not the way that most people tackle it, Sneha. I know this from people who've come to me and told me that, I'd like you to critique my writing and copy and stuff like that. So I tell them, right.
mm,
So write 1,000 words a day for the next 1 year. And after that, you come back to me and I'll tell you. And that's the last I see of them because it's a very, very effective way of telling them, put in the work, and then you probably will not need me at the end of it because you yourself will learn.
that's just so
it's
true.
a it's a
Yes,
way that you figure out. Just like anything else, you run every day, your speed will improve.
yeah,
You draw every day and your talent will improve. And I just spoke to a painter who's one of the most what do you say, irrational. I mean, she doesn't believe she's creative, but she's turned out to be a wonderful painter after she got married, and then got to it by examining what she could do at home, with the time that she had. So
right.
sometimes these things are given almost as, people believe that you have to be a certain kind of person. But the application you showed in terms of tackling that every day, it wouldn't have come easy, right? You had the time, but a lot of people would do binge watching. They would probably do something where they'd be happy to try something else out. How did you get that discipline, or was that innate?
No, definitely. not something that came from me. My parents from a young age, especially my father, was very, very strict about discipline. Of course, I hated it back then, but I think when I had to do this, these 7,000 words a day, and they didn't give my employer didn't give me an option. He said, you have to do this much. And he even asked for a night shift to do another 7,000 words with it. So I knew I had to, be disciplined about. That's where my dad's discipline really came into. I knew that I have to somehow pace myself. I have to just figure out how to do it. I mean, they're going to pay me for my work. I have to do it. And yeah, I guess it's just the
And you were
discipline
writing
which,
about a very wide range of subjects.
yeah. So 90% of my content work at that point was about the film industry, uh,
Okay.
mostly about Marvel and DC comics and the backwards
Okay.
about what really goes behind it and all. So it was very interesting. And then another 10% was a lot of scientific writing, like something about the Mariana Trench and stuff like that. So altogether, they were very interesting stuff. It's not like I ever got bored. Also, it was very interesting. So yeah.
Okay. So how would you go about it? You'd read the stuff first and then you'd make a few drafts, or you'd, manage to just knock it off within the next few hours. How would you go about taking an assignment? Give me a typical
It,
way of tackling an assignment.
right. So it was around 10 to 12 articles a day, and they wanted it by the end of the day. So there was no editing one day for editing. They just needed it by the end of the day. So some of them I knew there was scope to write just like 500 words and close it. Some of them really needed much more. So I would just take an article. They would just give me a topic. There was no
Okay.
sketch, no structure, nothing. So I would take a topic. That time there was no chat GPT, nothing. You had to do like a lot of research on that. And from the 10 to 12 topics, I would kind of pick out which ones are very similar because they're all from the comic book thing. I would kind of pick out which ones I can actually club and then split it into two later on. And that's how I
Hmm.
would go about at least saving time. And on the structure of writing the article, I had very fixed structures and the type of art, how the topic would start and how the like depends on what they give me. They say how do if the topic started how I had a certain structure. It has to start like this and end like this. If their topic would start with why, questions like why, it had a different structure. So I knew I just had to copy paste that structure and then write my content. So I didn't have to worry about how to structure every article.
Okay. So 7,000 words a day, even if it's 25, is about, it's a lot of words. I mean, it's
It's a
like
lot of
writing
work.
a
It was
book
very hard. Yeah.
every month. Literally, it's
It
like, so
was
you
hard.
were
Yeah.
essentially writing the equivalent of one book a month, which is 12 books. So if you did that for about 3 4 years, it means you have effectively written about 40 books. So did this ever go into, now that you've done this over the past few years, has it ever occurred to you that you might want to write a book about it, about your writing?
No. I mean, just the other month, we were all sitting and talking, my mom, husband, dad, and me, and then the topic of writing a book had come up. Um,
Okay.
the topic was undecided, and then I really thought to myself, where's the time right now? Maybe later in my life, but just not now. I
Okay.
mean, yeah,
Okay.
it's very tempting to write one, but probably later on in my life, I would get
Yeah.
time for that.
Because a lot of people struggle with the topic itself. In your case, let's say if the topic was given to you, then the next question was, how do I go about handling it? And like you said, you had a template, you had a certain way of starting it off. So again, you
Right.
arrive at systems and methods to do it
Yes.
because it has to get done.
Yes. Correct. So the
And
first
then,
1 week I didn't. I thought, okay,
ah,
I can do it. And then I realized it's getting very tough. I have to kind of figure out how to write every article. So by 1 week, end of
right.
1 week, I knew what the kind of topics you're going to give me. I kind of had an idea. And then with the structure side, just went
After
about it.
that, it was okay.
Yeah.
And does the same thing happen when you're practicing music, for example? If you're sitting down and then saying, okay, how do I practice the chords? Do you go over something on a regular basis, or how do you go about
No.
doing
So,
that?
yes, so music practice is such that you have to start from the basics every time, at least for me. I have to start
Right.
from my first lesson since I was a child. I do that. Like whenever I sit to practice, those are my first notes I play, even if it's just one note. I do it because just out of habit. I mean, my teacher used to keep making me do it, and I used to do the basic exercises and then go on to the more complicated ones.
Okay, okay. So when it gets complex, for example, there you start with the simple notes, and then it means doing the stuff which is a little more complex. Is it easier when you practice the basic notes and then you're able to sort of move fluidly into the more complex bits of a certain piece?
I haven't really thought of it that way actually. This is something I did out of habit, the basic. I never really
Instinctively.
gone into the Yeah, I've not really gone into the complex ones immediately. I think it's something I was always scared of doing. So,
Okay, okay. Because you're instinctively a doer from whatever you've told me, Sneha, in the sense that it's not as if you've spent. Some people say, I will, they live in their dreams in the sense that they say, I will do this. But you just kind of got down to it. And was it difficult landing those first assignments? How did they come to you?
so I did a lot of research on LinkedIn. I
Okay.
there was articles on top five content writers of India, of Chennai, of Bangalore. So I had read a couple of articles. I found them on LinkedIn and I actually called them one by one. I messaged them,
Okay.
I called them personally. I told them that, see, I'm starting out my career. I really help. I need some help. If you have any assignments, do let me know. And one of them reached out of probably 20, 30. One of them reached out. And from there, it was just she referred to somebody else and that just went on.
Wow. That's a wonderful way to do it. It's again, see, this is what I'm saying. You're operating by not by saying, let me start writing and then people will discover me. You went to the source of where the articles, best way to start a career like this. And then you actually reached out to those people. And okay, you had to talk
Right,
to one or two of them, but that essentially started your first, because a person who's already started, had a career and had a base of people, she would have been able to put you on to the right people to get your first
right,
assignments,
correct.
which
Right.
I think
And wait, to be
is,
honest, this was my mother's idea. She's the one who told me, why don't you just contact a couple of people? So initially I was thinking, why would somebody in such a position who reached to her, why would they help somebody like me? Then I thought, then no one's going to help me if I don't do this actually. I might actually have to do it. So then
yeah.
I followed my mom's advice and I called up a couple of people. It worked
So
out.
when this person who you reached out to, she got back to you, what were her first questions? What was that whole conversation like?
Hey, so I just called her directly and I told her that I'm a freelancer. I asked her how much she charges, how she goes about it, and so my first question to her was, "Do you mind helping me out? Because I just starting up." So she didn't even hesitate. She was very happy to help actually, and I think I'm still connected to her on LinkedIn too. So she then asked me what kind of content I was looking to write, and I told her I didn't know. I really don't know what because I just started off. So then she said she knows a couple of people. She will see if they have any projects open, something that I can start working on. And then there was no call from her after that. Then there was just an email with the project that she wanted me to take up. So it's very hard
My God,
finding
that's
people like
one.
that also.
Uh, okay, okay. And the route that you adopted about getting paid and things like that, did you have a system to set it up, or your parents helped you, or you just said, okay, put it into my bank account and that is it?
Yeah, I think that is it.
That's
I
all that.
didn't think too much about it because I think that point in time in life, you're not really thinking investment in this. You're just thinking of money in. That's all, right? So you're like, yeah, give me the money
Yeah.
for what time I work. So,
Yeah, but then you still had to raise an invoice and then follow up for payment, or those things really didn't. You got paid on time.
yeah, so the invoice is what I had to raise, which was, I think, the most annoying part of it because like a lot of times because of the number of projects I would forget and then I had to go back and check what was the topic name and then a lot of files to look into. So but then the payments, like I think they were like on time. I Mostly everyone used to pay half in advance and half later. So
Okay.
they were
Okay.
always on time.
So that's a great way of managing this. Okay. Let me just make the announcements, Sneha, and then come back to you. Okay. I'm talking to Sneha Susanna George, and she has actually done 4 careers in the span of 10 years that she's been working in. She started out with accounting because both her parents are chartered accountants, and that is where she first thought that that would be the most logical way of approaching this. But then she did her journalism at Asian College and then discovered that yes, writing is what she likes the most. And she believes it started when, as an outpouring of grief, she wrote about her grandfather. And that led to her writing a whole lot of um, passages, which over time became the foundation. So, Sneha, I think, has been the realization that she is a good writer came to her early on. Some people struggle with that. So she knew what she didn't want, but she also knew what she wanted. She also says she liked home baking because it started right from the beginning. And she talks about her journey into freelancing as saying that I just reached out to people because her mother told her, speak to people who are already in the business. And then she got there and it worked out extremely well for her because she started getting the assignments. So if you like what you've heard so far, please subscribe, share, and like this episode as well as check out all the other episodes on the channel. In the next stage, I'm going to be talking to Sneha about how she moved out of freelance into a job and why. So, so Sneha, what happened? You were doing perfectly well in freelancing, but it was solo. You were, uh, you know, doing your stuff yourself. So, what is the point at which you decided that maybe I should look at social media manager because that's one of the things you've done?
Right. No,
Yeah.
so it was not freelance to social media was in the past 2 years. It was actually from freelance to a full-time job. The number one reason, like most people's reason would be was COVID, right? That hit, and then my main clients told me that they are not getting their revenue, and they said, "See, we cannot probably go ahead for the next couple of months." And by the time I just gotten married, 1 month into my marriage, and then I realized that if I was it's just me with steady income didn't really matter. But right now, I can't really expect my husband just because he's the man of the house to bring in all the income all the time, right? I should also be able to bring in a steady income. So just before my clients could back out, I applied and I got the job ready. And probably in a week's time, they told me, see, we can't really do much. So
Okay.
in that 1 week, there was a overlap of my full-time job and freelancing. And I thought I'll just do it because I knew this freelancing thing was not going to work out for too long. And then
Okay. Okay.
they told me,
So
and then I
the
continued.
interviews all happened online. Were they fairly clear about what they wanted? What is that interview like for the job?
So the interview didn't happen online. I had to go to the office, and there
Okay.
was a lot of confusion because it's probably the first time they were hiring somebody who's coming from a freelance background,
Okay.
right? So there was the salary negotiation telling them that I'm still worth the same amount just because I was freelancing doesn't mean I'm worth less, and now I'm worth more. And then there was a lot of about will I be freelancing at the same time? And even if they were okay if I freelance, they were totally fine. It's just that they said it should not interfere with the job. And then there was when will I actually stop freelancing if I have want to? Like, and then I mean, I think they made the question like very tough because they were also a little like worried because first time they were also hiring, like I said. But then I think 2 days into the job, I think they kind of realized that I can give my full this 100% to my job. And then they were
What was
fine.
the job description, Sneha? What is it that
It
you
was
were
it was
supposed
written website content writing for a fintech company,
to? Okay.
and the test was not even a very, to be honest, not a very creative one. It was very regular website content writing, and they said I had access to everything on the internet. I didn't even have to know a lot of stuff. But it was finance related. So that
Okay.
was my only. I was like worried why is this coming back to me in my life. right? But then I didn't have a choice. I knew things were
Uh,
going to go downhill because that year was a horrible year for everyone, I think. So we
right.
knew if we are getting a job, take it. So yeah,
This was the first year of COVID, 2020 to 21.
2020,
Or
yes,
was okay, okay, okay.
2020.
And then all the assignments came to you online. You submitted them or you posted them. There was a certain workflow which you had to follow. Was it tough getting into the flow of work on a regular job as opposed to the flow of freelancing?
Yes, I think the struggle started from waking up in the morning and actually getting ready to step out of the house. Uh, to log in by like I think it was log in at 9:30. Yeah, so that was my first struggle, and I think it was not very the work wise it was not tough because it was a lovely team I worked with, amazing manager, very kind, and he just gave me 500 words to write in a day initially. Sorry,
On a
150 a
day.
day for the first week, and then 500 the next week. So he said we'll take it slow because it is very new content for me. So I was kind of free the first
This,
2 weeks, but then it went on.
this is like a racing car driver being asked to do a walking race, Sneha. You're
Yeah.
doing 10,000 words a day, and they were asking for 0.1% of that on any given day, or 7,
Right, yeah.
8,000. So, I suppose that part of it would have been very easy to adjust to.
Yeah, yeah. The first 2 weeks were easy, and then the maximum they went up to was 2,500 words. So
Okay.
when you asked about the social media time, switch, at one point I realized that it's just 2,500 words. I can do something else. So that's when I spoke to my manager asking if I could, probably sit with the social media team and see what's the work and probably shift in a couple of years.
Okay. So, you were creating the content based on topics that they gave you, or they would tell you that this is the overall, you know, content canvas that you have to create, and then you attack parts of it on a daily basis? What was your way of doing this?
No, so we had an SEO team who would give us the topics based on their research.
Yeah,
So
whatever
we
people
had
are
to
searching for, and
right. So based on that, we had to create content. But my only struggle was that they had certain words you had to somehow use 25 of them in one article. It was very difficult for me to do that. And
yeah,
yeah, yes, then I
yeah,
kind of got the
I
hang of it.
know, because what people are searching for can get terribly,
Oh man, yes.
you know, uh, crazy to try and fit in, especially if the rest of the article is flowing around it, and suddenly you have to get these words in which are very,
Yeah.
they just don't
Very,
belong.
very random words. Yes, they don't
Yeah,
belong to the article exactly.
I've always found that a little strange about SEO, saying that if it's there in the body of text, then people will somehow see it. But I
Right.
always feel that it breaks the flow. It's like somebody who says something, and then suddenly there are two phrases where you're saying, "This person, this is not the way people talk." And it's always a little odd to hear
Yeah,
that
yeah.
coming from them. Okay. How did
Yeah,
you
that's
tackle it then over time? You figured out your ways, or
no,
it had
so
to be done?
website.
So,
Yeah, I mean, of course, it had to be done. And like I said, they were very like they gave me like 2 days for like one landing page. So I had time to figure things out. So initially, I had to do a lot of research because again, it was a very new market. And it's a new
right,
arena
right,
for me, right? It was all about credit scores and credit cards, and I was not very
right.
well versed with that. So for me, it was most of the research that took time. The article was still fine. So initially, I made a lot of errors because I didn't know a lot of things about credit scores and credit cards. But yeah, then it got better.
You got there. And then, so you didn't have to worry about any of the other stuff. There were people for scheduling, there were people for working out what kind of viewership the articles were getting. Were you given feedback on which
No,
articles were doing better and which was actually bringing
no,
in
no.
more results?
We were not given. We were only given the topics that were doing well. We were not really
Okay,
given the pages or the content that was doing well. That
okay,
only
okay.
there was another team for that. They never shared the information with us.
Yeah. But that's what I think, that these things have become silos where there's somebody who does the content, there is somebody else who does the SEO, and then there's the scheduling, and then the
Yeah,
others. So these are all five, six different functions, all of which, and then
right.
you're trying to figure out, okay, what works better on Facebook? How does it work on Twitter? How does it work on
Correct.
Instagram? And then
Exactly,
you're
right?
trying to figure out,
That is so
yeah.
true. Yeah, yeah. That is
So,
one problem.
uh, so that part of it you weren't involved with at all. That never
Not
comes into
while
the
I
picture.
was doing content writing, no. But now that I'm in the social media team, I'm also designing a couple of posts and videos. So I think that makes it easier. When you make your own content and then you design it, I think, and then you are able to see the number of views, the audience. Now I'm able to understand how my content is working.
Okay, okay. So how has that changed the way you write content after you got into this social media management role?
Hmm.
How has it changed the way you approach content?
I think
Has
now
it
I'm
changed,
looking for
or is
more,
it simply
yeah,
that? Yeah,
definitely, definitely. Now I'm not writing longer sentences. I'm probably writing 4 to 5 words per sentence, maximum 10, because you have to grab the audience attention in the first slide or the first section of your video. So it's very short content. Now a lot of my time goes mostly in, I think a lot of I'm the one who's making up the topics right now. So the roles have shifted.
right.
I have to come up with the topics and then I do the designing as well. So a lot of my time goes in there. Content writing has come down a bit actually, a lot from where, I mean, as you progress, you do have to change your role. So,
But I think the foundation of what you've written and what you spent over those years will always stand you in very good stead. It's not as if you lose that touch. It's almost like at times it's like riding a
mhm.
cycle and you're a little rusty, but they always come back to you. It comes back to you. I'm
Definitely,
speaking
yes, yes.
again from experience, yeah.
It's true. Because
Because
even now I write a lot of songs, from poems we've gone to songs. I write them and I just feel like it. And I kind of surprise myself, like, oh, I still have it little bit in
okay.
me to do this. So,
So fundamentally, while you do four or five careers, it's still writing that is at the foundation of whatever you like doing. Because I
yeah,
guess
yeah,
that's
I
the
think that keeps
the
coming
way
back.
in
Yeah.
which yeah, it really matters. Have you tried your hand at any other kind of writing, meaning fiction and poems, poetry, or any of that, or that's part of what you
Fiction,
do?
no. Poetry was something I used to do a lot when I was younger. Um,
Okay,
Fiction, no. Now it's just songwriting. It's just something I do a lot
okay.
of late.
So, what kind of songs? These are songs that you compose, or it's just the songs that you write, and you have a team that you work with, or how does it work?
No, no, this is my personal thing, and just have a little,
Oh, it's
I think YouTube page of
it's for
my own.
yours.
It's just it's just something that uh, keeps me happy. And then
Okay,
we have a lot of AI apps that I can't sing, I can write. So I have AI apps that convert these into songs, and I can choose which note to play when, and it's
okay.
just nice to see. Yeah.
So, tell me how you do that. What do you do with the AI apps? How do you go about
So
working
there
with
are
them?
two apps I use. One of them I just have to put my lyrics. I have to tell them what
Okay.
kind of melody I'm going for,
Feel you
somber,
want,
happy,
melody you want. Okay,
yeah, the feel, and then they give you different options, and then you just pick and choose which one you feel best for. There are certain songs I hear the first note, and I'm like, no, this is not the one. And certain ones I just keep listening because it's bringing my words to life here into music, and I'm just so
yeah,
happy to hear
yeah,
that,
yeah,
and I choose
yeah.
that.
So it's the other thing I guess I've noticed about prompts is that the kind of words you use are very important to get the final result. So how do you
Right.
manage to convey a sense of what you want in the song and what kind of pacing and what kind of feel it needs to have is all part of the prompting
Yeah, yeah.
process.
So they have a prompt so you can write slow, fast. You can even say bridge, go slow in the bridge, go fast. You can just write whatever you want. And I think AI is just brilliant that way. It just knows what you're trying to say, and
Yeah.
it just comes out almost 90% correct. options for me. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then to come back to your social media management bit, did that happen after you left the company that was into where you were writing financial content and then moved to this
No, no,
company, or is it?
it's the same company. I've
It's
been in the first company I've been in for more than almost 5 years.
wow.
It's a very lovely team. Uh, they're just very open to people shifting teams. And so when I
Okay.
asked them, they didn't even hesitate. The next meeting, I just got an invite saying join the meeting.
Okay.
And from there, it was then they told me to leave the content writing team and join social media team.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then I think I was junior brand something. And now I think assistant manager. So it's come a long way. It's a very
Okay.
beautiful journey. I'm very happy. So,
It's wonderful that you found a team of people who you get along well with and who understand what your strengths
right,
are
yeah,
and allow you to function or enable you to function within that
exactly.
whole area.
Right.
So, have you seen what are the kind of things that you have to do now as a result of being in charge of social media or looking at what you're doing? So you said you write shorter sentences. That's one thing. Have you found that video tends to work better than text? Have you found that audio needs to be there as well? What are the various learnings that you have post your move into this?
Mm. So I'm just looking at the fintech field right now, but that is also my
Right.
competitors and everything. There's really not something that video works better than a carousel or a slide. It really depends on your topic and the way you introduce the topic. That first slide, the first section of your video has to be so captivating that people do stay for a longer time, right? For like just last month, we had put in a lot of research for so many topics like credit score. And the video that actually did well was a video that started off saying you are going to lose your money soon. The video was probably not an exact direct topic was not directly about that, but people want to know like what's happening with their money. Right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's very complicated
And
social media to figure out what does well.
exactly. And it's quite amazing how people respond much better or their attention is grabbed by anything which is even faintly negative. Like you said, you lose your money.
Hmm.
Those kind of things seem to work so much more powerfully than you'll make a lot of money. It's
Yeah,
almost as if
that is so true.
you tell people that you can make 1 million over the next few years, and yeah, so 1 year. But if you say you can make 1 million within a week, you can get people in, which is again lying. But
Right.
things like this, and that becomes a kind of a formula which you have to keep using. Okay, but do you
Hmm.
experiment with a number of headlines and approaches before you finally go out? So extensive
No, so
testing is done.
that is the best part about my team, right? They let you actually post your experiments. You can have the same content. Your first slide can be different, and they let you post it and see for a month how it does, and then you can remove it at the end of the month, which ones you don't
Yeah,
want. So,
yeah,
I can in real time find out what's doing well.
right, right. It's such a different world from what advertising used to be earlier because, if you had to promote something or you had to do something, all the discussion was held and then finally it goes out into the newspaper. You have no clue what happened unless there were calls coming back or people understood what the whole thing
Right.
was. And like you're saying, you're seeing your ability to tweak this on the fly. So you do 8 approaches and then you figure out that, hey, this one seems to work
Yeah.
much better.
Let's delete the rest and keep this in our profile. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let me make the announcements and come back. We are into. So in the second phase, Sneha and I spoke about how she moved from being a freelancer at the point when COVID hit and she had just got married. And then she managed to land a job within a week. And then she's been with the company for 5 years. And that she finds that her team, the people that she's working with, have really been helpful and open to her experimenting with various aspects of the job. She started out by writing a whole lot of posts which were required by the company, and then over time she has transitioned to work on social media. And what she said is she now writes shorter lines. She also looks at grabbing attention. And what she likes is the ability to experiment and be able to see what really gets the attention of people. Uh, I think she briefly talked about this, about her negotiation skills and how she got what she wanted by proving to the company that just because she was a freelancer didn't mean that she wouldn't bring the same value to her job, and that is what she wanted to get as far as that was concerned. In the final segment, we'll be speaking about how Sneha is looking at the future. What is it that she wants to explore in addition to writing? But I think a whole lot of work that she does is very clearly, sort of associated with writing. So if you like this, please share, subscribe, let people know. Let me get back to the conversation with Sneha. So you've been working now for 10 years, Sneha, including your freelance,
Yes, I think
a
almost
decade.
10. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got a long professional career ahead of you. So, what is it that,
Mm.
as of now, you would like to be doing whatever you're currently doing, the mix of two and three things? Because you started freelancing, then you worked on financial content, you also do your home baking, you enjoy your music. So, what are the things that, and that I think is one of the ways in which people are today looking at a career, that it doesn't need to be just one thing. I don't have to focus only on something. But what's your take on that? How do you think the years ahead you're looking at?
Wow. I'm taking the first time I'm actually thinking about the years ahead. I would be very happy to continue in this company because of their work-life balance is brilliant. I've now seen it in any other company. So that is definitely one of the reasons I want to continue here. But if things were to change, I don't know, where what I would do. I really don't know. I really have to sketch this plan out. I'll probably start something of my own so I can be my own boss. Not easy, but probably will have to figure it out. I really
Okay.
don't know.
That's not something to be afraid about. And I think, especially as you've already proven that you have the skills to shift to whatever is required. Like I mentioned, uh, your negotiation skills, which you had to exercise for the first time to get the salary you wanted, was essentially about being able to do that at a point when you're required to do it. So I think some people don't have an estimation of what they're good at in addition to their core
Mm.
skill. So these are things that you add on over time: persuasion,
Right.
and how do you convince people, and what is involved. All of those sort of evolve over time. But is there something else that you said you wanted to travel? So is that travel part of something that fulfills you a great deal? Do you like travel writing? Do you
Oh,
like the process
definitely.
of traveling?
Definitely. Traveling is something I really love. Documenting it, probably explaining to people how to get to a certain place, what to look for, something I really enjoy. Right now, with my son, traveling is not something I'm very fond of as of now because it's very, very stressful. But I'm sure
Yeah.
as he grows up, it's going to get easier. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. Uh, Probably a career in travel and in something that traveling also would, it's definitely not out of question here. So.
Okay. So which part of travel do you like the most? Is it the sights? Is it the food? Is it the sense of being in a new place? What about travel is interesting?
It's definitely the food. I think it's without a doubt. It is definitely the food. I mean, the kind of food you get, even like if I'm back, like even traveling from Chennai to from Nungapakkam to say Mahabalipuram, right? It's not a
Yeah.
very long distance, but the food you get there is so different. Right? You're not going to get that kind of food in the city, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's always the food for me. It's always exciting what they're going to have and
Okay.
what I can try out.
So, which are the places that you remember? What are the kind of destinations that you remember which you really enjoyed yourself? Not recently, even in the past.
Yeah, I think Scotland. The food was brilliant. It was just,
Okay.
it was really good food, and it it it, it was like it was food that I've not seen before, right? So and then to
Okay.
open it up and eat it, it's very very lovely. I think I remember that the food, and then of course, I think we can all agree that Goa has one of the best seafood
Right.
in the world, right? So yeah.
And that was a fairly long trip, a couple of weeks, or was it a short one? What did you
I think the
see during
maximum
that
we've
trip
done
to
is
Scotland? Okay.
to Scotland. It was a very long time back. I think it was 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
Um, See, I'll be very honest, what I saw, I think the monuments, I really can't remember, but the food, I remember very well what I had for lunch. I can tell you exactly what the food. I'm not really a monument scenery kind of person. I'm more of a
Okay.
food
Okay.
person. So,
You come across as a very practical person, Sneha. You're one of those people who says that it's not as if you have to think about something a great deal. It's like you get to doing it and then you figure out, okay, I like doing this and I'm happy with it. Because sometimes I think people spend a lot of time trying to figure out what am I about? What do I like? Whereas what you're doing is actually, you said, okay, music, writing songs, let me write songs. Music, let me learn music. And then baking, let me start baking. So it's not as if you're standing on the sidelines as a spectator and thinking
hmm,
about things, but just jumping into it. And then would you say that
figuring
that's
out,
a
let's
fair
see
characterization?
if that's the right thing to do. No, maybe not for everyone. Hmm. I mean, I've had my failures as well, thinking I'm probably good at something. No. I mean, this has just
Okay.
worked for me, it just
Right.
worked.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't
Right.
deviate from that.
Yeah. No, this is the aspect which I think for a lot of people is the stumbling block. That is making a decision on what should I be doing.
Hmm.
So, how important was money to you? Let's just talk because I'm saying when it comes to something like this, people always, a job means that there is a career, there is a financial aspect involved. So,
Right.
when you're talking to people, when people are looking at content writing, people are looking at social media management, what would your, sort of message to them be? What should they be expecting? What kind of salaries can they start with, and then how do they move ahead on those jobs?
From a freelancing point of view, I think given the current economy as well, I would say don't go anything below rupees 4 per word. Before, I think when I started, it was in paise. You could ask in paise, but I think it doesn't work that way right now. I mean, you have value, people need your work, and you need to like live, right? So nothing below
Right,
rupees 4 per word. And I think in a corporate world, I think your starting can easily be around 30 as a
right,
content writer. I think the
right,
numbers are very different when I started, but right now I think this is the
right,
uh,
right. And then when you see yourself getting better at something, which is in terms of social media management, what is it that you now look at when you start doing it? One is, of course, the content part of it. But then you're looking at these social media platforms, the ones that your work is appearing on, which is, it could
hmm.
be Facebook, it could be Instagram, it could be Twitter, it could be LinkedIn. How are you making those decisions right now in terms of what you would suggest, or will you change your approach for each one of these platforms?
My approach to creating content.
Yeah, creating content.
Right. So we have different people handling different platforms for this very reason, because every platform requires a very different kind of content, right?
Right.
So Facebook is like we don't do. I don't think most companies don't use Facebook. So with
Yeah.
LinkedIn, it's very different from YouTube. YouTube is probably so I handle YouTube and LinkedIn and Instagram. So these three platforms are very different. YouTube, you can probably write very long video scripts. For LinkedIn, you probably have to write more in-depth explanations because you have a lot of like CEOs and CFOs on LinkedIn reading your content, right? So they need more. They don't want the creative stuff. They want heavy
And they don't want the
content,
basic
right?
stuff.
Yeah, they don't want the basic stuff. So this is where we actually take the help of our senior managers, and so we don't try to do this on our own a lot. And then you have Instagram where you can just have fun, right? You can just try out as long as you're going like not breaking the boundaries of what your founder has in mind for his company. You can just
Yeah.
experiment a lot and
Yeah.
do what you want. Yeah.
Okay. And what is a typical day like now? Is it packed or is it, uh, do you have to spend a fair amount of time interacting with people, or most of it is spent writing? How does it work out normally for you?
So interacting with people, not much. We have one meeting a day, one meeting in a week. Like again, like I said, brilliant team. One meeting a day where everything is discussed, no doubts later on. We just don't have any doubts because everything is just discussed over there. Couple of messages here and there during the week, and we all create our own content, and it's just we just share it onto a group, and everybody can use it as and when as and how they like. So
So it goes out to the manager you're reporting to, and then it goes out
yes,
into the
and
workflow.
invariably she accepts everything we do. She's very happy with our work, and then we put it in a common group so that somebody who's handling Twitter, right? I don't know what they are creating, so when they put it in the group, I can probably use that topic for my platforms as well, like that.
Okay. Okay. It's interesting how remote work itself has
Hmm.
evolved over time. It used to
Right.
be a point when you're sitting and wondering, okay, people used to think that remote work was only Zoom calls. But now, obviously, what you've said, all of these are now getting transformed into
Right.
specific channels that you can figure out what to do with and then give feedback and then figure out. So, are there conventions that you're seeing which the weekly meeting is one or the daily meeting? What are some of the other things that you see? You see some people prolific on these channels, some people are withdrawn. Do you find that there is a mix of various kinds of behavior across channels, even from people
From
within
the
the organization? Yeah, within the
within the
company.
organization. Um, in terms of
Well,
like
the reason I'm asking is very specific, Sneha.
uh,
Let's say, there were these cliches which came about saying water cooler conversations, where
uh,
people would gather around the water cooler and then discuss things that
right.
happened. And that was supposed to be a time
Yeah,
when, the informal part of conversations happened.
right,
So,
right.
is there an equivalent to
Yes,
online remote?
definitely.
Like,
I think
okay,
every company would have a team where your manager is not included, just team members, right? So that is our equivalent to
okay,
the water cooler time, yeah.
okay. Oh, you have a
And
separate
I
group
think
that, yeah,
we do this to
right.
probably this sometimes we just throw out very raw ideas which we know she's going to say no to. But then we can laugh about it, have our own little discussion and before we actually put it onto the group. And then
Yeah,
I think one thing with remote work is you're able to be more productive at work because you get so much time for yourself. Right. I mean, I have time to go and
right,
have a cup of tea while watching TV, and then I can come back to work. So I feel like okay, I've got my time completely. Now I can go back and
right, right.
work.
But have you worked in an environment where you've gone to the office on a regular basis or 2 or 3 days
Yes.
a week, or you have?
Not after 2020. Before that, yes. But
Okay.
um,
Okay. But before that, the difference between working in an office versus working remotely, would you still say that working remotely works far better for you? Not just because you have
yes.
more time, but
No,
okay.
definitely. Working remotely definitely works better for me in every aspect. To be honest, I'm not wasting time, right? In my office as well. Like a lot of times, you just have to pretend in front of your boss that you're actually working in front of the laptop, and I can actually be doing something more productive and then come back and do, more work. So,
Exactly. exactly. So you don't have to uh, do the fake "I'm working very hard" routine.
Yeah, I mean, right. I think it's better now because they know how hard you're working based on the deliverables. They see you deliver on the group. They're able to see you post, so they know, okay, this person is working, and you don't have to go out of your way to explain that, see, I'm working.
Yeah, yeah. But again, it's, this is restricted or it works very well when the entire team understands. Whereas
Yes,
there are
very true.
jobs in which, you have to follow up with people, you will find them slacking off, you will find that there is an
Correct.
issue, especially with jobs which are not, which involve a fair amount of physical work. It's not easy to get people
Right.
to be
Yeah,
productive,
definitely.
so these systems may not work in that kind of an environment as well.
True. True. And
Okay,
also, like you said, your teammates matter. Right? I have teammates who just pick up for me. I can pick up for them on a certain day. Just take up their job. We do that for each other, right? So that also matters.
right, right.
So,
Mm. And it's marvelous to have that, because when you have that kind of understanding and interaction with people, it tends to be a lot more fulfilling rather than just saying that, okay, I'm getting this job done because I'm being paid to do it, and not just
yeah,
because
that's so
there is
true.
a lot more,
Yeah.
action involved. What about get-togethers and stuff with that? Do you have those fairly often, or is it physical in person?
Get-togethers like for a formal meeting.
Yeah, some not formal meeting.
We
Let's
have
say you have some, yeah, I don't know, whatever they
no, no, we
called.
have
Is it
formal. No, we do have formal meetings. I think once a quarter, which we try our best to attend. Informal meetings, we have, as a team, we took a decision not to do that because that's where relationships cannot go for a toss. You know, sometimes better to have this professional relationship and keep it there. So,
okay? Marvelous, Sneha. I think we've been chatting for almost an hour, and I think I got the a feel of all the things that you sort of looked at, and what is your early mindset like, and how it has changed over the years. So, to someone who's watching this and saying, uh, what is your mantra for a career? You believe it's not necessary to follow just one. What would your position be?
I would say just do it. As long as your money is not at risk, just do it. How bad can it get? Right. So,
Great. Okay, on that note, thank you very much for being on the show, Sneha. It's been a pleasure talking to you and understanding what you do, and how you've gone about, attending to so many of the interests you have, which is not just that there are so many other aspects to life that you can enjoy, and work need not be the only thing that consumes you. All the
right.
very best for the future, and
Thank you so
thank
much.
you for being on the show. Thank you. That was Sneha Suzanna, and she talked about how she has formed her own career aspirations and where she's worked with. Um, Next week, another session, another show. Until then, keep watching. And we'll get another person who is from a completely different career next time.